Hello, everyone, and welcome to the March 2024, I guess, spring edition. Spring has sprung of Art Friends. And
Yeah.
yes, do I look like a kind of like a satellite dish? Yes. But I think this is a great opportunity to state that I've gotten some emails sometimes of people wondering, like, am I too sick to attend Art Friends? Do I have to be at my very best self? Because all of us here at AnCan are peers. I'm a peer, you're a peer, we're all peers here. I had emergency surgery yesterday, and I'm like, you know what? I want to be at Art Friends today. That's where I want to be. So if I myself can be here as Hannah's technical producer, if you're concerned, if you watch us at home, just a recording, or no matter what, you are welcome to show up in your pajamas. You're welcome. It doesn't matter if you have just your pajamas on. You're welcome to come as you are. It doesn't matter. You can come up looking like a satellite dish. So Hannah, cool beans, tell us what we are doing tonight. It is cool. It is relaxing. It's going to be fun. And tell us what we need. I'm going to post it in the chat too. And just walk us through what we're going to do.
Thank you, Alexa. You are the best. Okay, so once again, thank you guys for joining us for our AnCan Art Friends class. Thank you so much, Alexa. So you're right. We are going to be doing a watercolor koi fish today. So I don't know. I've been in like a watercolor mood, like fishy underwater theme mood lately. So this was the result of one of those doodling exercises that I usually do. So we are going to be using watercolor today. So I'll go ahead and go through our supplies that we'll need today. So as you can see, I have paper, right? So this is actually just my regular 9 by 12 inch mixed media paper. If you have watercolor, that's totally fine too. Even just cardstock, that's okay too. As long as it's just some sort of like a thicker paper, you'll be good. If you want to use some blue painter's tape, something that's a little bit more delicate with paper, to tape around the edges and keep it secured to your workspace, you're more than welcome to do that as well. As far as our painting supplies go, I have my handy dandy watercolor set right here. I have some water. I have napkins. I have my brushes. So these are the three that I'm going to be using today. I want you guys to use whatever you have, okay? Don't feel like you have to have exactly what I have on hand, because obviously everybody's art set's going to be a little bit different, okay? So I have a flat brush. So this I like to use a 3/4 inch brush. I have two round brushes. So one of them's like a size 6 or a size 8, I don't remember, and the other one's a size 2. So anything around that size range is you'll be fine with. You'll also want a pencil and an eraser. So I've got my handy dandy pencil. I usually like to use I like a large eraser just because it's for me it's easier. That's all. And that's it. We're going to be spending a little bit of time drawing our koi fish first. That way we just have it there, have it laid out. So very first thing we're going to want is that pencil. Um, yes. And if you have any questions, like Alexa put in the chat, please let me know. Let us know right now. Any questions before we begin? Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah, let's do this. Let's start. Please let me know if you guys need me to repeat the supplies that we'll need. We also have it in the chat as well. So I have my paper right here. And as you can see, my koi fish has so much color on it. Just start thinking about what colors you want your koi fish to be. When I was looking at pictures, koi fish, their colors can range anywhere from yellow on the lighter side to all types of orange and all types of reds. So between yellows and oranges and reds. So you do not have to do exactly the same spots that I have. You don't have to do exactly the same colors. If you want your entire koi fish to be red and bright, you do that, okay? I want you guys to have fun with that. And in fact, I have another little example right here that I did earlier where I wanted to add a little bit of red paint to my koi fish. So just an idea. And you don't have to do a little dot either. I just like to do a little dot just because I think it's cool. That's all. So as far as the colors are concerned for the water, any kind of blues, greens even. We are gonna mix just a tiny, tiny little bit of black paint just to kind of make it, I don't know, a little bit more neutral. And that's about it. So I will go ahead and we can begin the pencil drawing now. So as you can see, our koi fish is very curvy, right? So I am going to start off with this big curve right here, and it's going to droop down towards one of the sides. So just sort of think about that curve. It's a little bit further up than you would think, because I know with this one here, I put it a little bit lower, and I didn't have enough space for like more of the fin. So just keep that in mind. If you want more fin on the bottom, just think about that. Just think about raising your koi fish up a little bit and starting your arc a little further up. So it'll be a big wide arc, and then we'll come down here, and then we'll create the nose and the rest of the body, and then end it with the tail down here. So as you can see, I'm pointing a lot. I always like to point to exactly where I'm going to be drawing, because it just gives me like mentally, I'm prepared to make bigger marks with my pencil. So just a little trick that I like to do to trick my brain into thinking, into knowing exactly what to do. So big arch, I'm going to have it up here, and we're going to curl downward here. I recommend that you guys press down lightly. I am going to press down a little harder just because I want you guys to see what I'm doing. But for you guys, press down a little bit lightly, because it'll allow you to erase it a little bit more easily. And don't feel like you have to get this arc in one stretch. You definitely don't. You can always stop and pause and just sort of redirect yourself if you need to. Are there any questions so far? So we got a big old half moon-ish shape. So I'll probably end right there and wait for you guys. So got a big koi fish body. We want plenty of space to be able to put all those colors in there. I know sometimes I do tend to go a little bit fast, so please feel free to interrupt me with any questions you might have, or if you feel like I'm going too fast, tell me, okay? I will slow down. Got that big old arc there. Let me go ahead and show you guys the picture again. Ta-da! Little fishy here. So now that I have my big arc there, I'm going to go ahead and jump back to this side, and we'll round it and make the little face here. So I sometimes tend to make the face a little bit wider. So feel free to adjust that as necessary, but do your adjustments later, maybe after you've drawn the entire thing. So one thing that I also tend to, I guess, lose track of is the thickness of the body. It's really easy to make a skinny little fish. Okay, koi fish, they tend to be a little bit thicker, a little closer to the head, maybe like chest area, what we would like technically think of as a chest, the rib cage. So they're a little bit thicker there, and then they dramatically start to decrease in size down here. So I have definitely made my fair share of skinny little fishies. So I'm going to try not to do that. So this is probably the part where I'm definitely going to be erasing. And as you can see, I'm making multiple lines here. So eventually I'm going to want to clean this up. That way I can, reorganize myself. And here's kind of where it dramatically decreases in size and gets a little thinner. I'm actually not gonna reach all the way to my line here. You see how I stretch my line way down here? I feel like there's plenty of space for a fin down here, so I'm gonna leave this open. I'm just gonna kind of finish it off right here. There we go. Now I feel like I've checked off a couple of boxes. I definitely have to clean this up here with my eraser and maybe that will help to define the nose area up here. So kind of do that. I've also made this guy a little bit thicker right up here, right behind the head. Very well-fed fishy. So now I can clean that up. Take it over here, clean up this end as well. And don't worry about drawing the fins just yet. We just want this little body to be drawn first. Let's see, I've erased my line, the rest of my line that was down here. So I'll add that in a little bit later in the form of a fin. You guys have questions? You guys doing all right? Silence. Okay. Hopefully that means I've explained everything well enough. I usually like to add like a little dot at the forehead. I mean, of course, I think it's cool, but I also forgot to mention that I used to have a puffer fish a long time ago. He was a green spotted puffer, and he had one black dot like directly in the middle of his forehead, and the rest of the dots, that the spots that radiated outside, like in this area, were in the shape of a flower. So it looked like a flower. It was pretty cool. He was a cool fish.
What was his name?
His name was Puffy. Green spotted puffer. What do you know? He was 14 years old when he passed away. Well, yeah. I no idea if they lived that long. Okay. So I feel like maybe we can move on to the fins now, I hope. If you happen to not have too much space down here, kind of like this guy right here, that's okay. Just make your fin running off the page like that. That's it. So now I am gonna start over here and have it move out. It definitely billows outwards like that. Gets really wide. So I'll do that to this side as well. And you can make it billow out a little bit more too. I've seen all types of different fin shapes on koi fish. So feel free to get creative with it. Okay, whatever you do is fine. Even if it's a little bit thinner, that's okay too. So I'll just clean up these lines a little bit. So maybe have it maybe be a little bit thicker like that. I think I'm good like that. I think I'm happy with it. Now I want you to see the original as well, just in case it's a little difficult to see mine. I'm going to define this line right here. So I kind of like the way that looks. I think I'm good. I think the only thing I'm going to do is just erase this part and have it seamlessly merge with the rest of the tail like that. It's the only thing I'm going to fix over here. It's just going to merge. There we go. Now I can jump up here. Actually, let's jump up to the face now. The way I sort of gain an understanding of where to put different fins and different things is I always like to start with the eyes next. So I'll start with the eyes, and they typically are kind of right here. Let's say right here. So if you need to figure out exactly, how to keep them looking like they're aligned correctly, then you can use your finger to just kind of do that. Just gauge where it needs to go and make these tiny little ovals. Tiny ovals right there. I guess they're not tiny. Now these are just placeholders. I am going to fill in this line with watercolor later. So those are just placeholders. I think I want to fix my face a little bit. Fix my face. There we go. Kind of like that. So now that I have the eyes, I can sort of gauge where to put the next set of fins or the first set of fins. So just a little bit behind that. So think of them as kind of where you'd have the fish's shoulders or the fish's arms, if it had arms, kind of right about here. So now I have one sticking out like that. And then the lines on the back of this fin are a little bit curvy. They're a little wavy. So I'll make these lines that form the fin. Wavy lines like that. And then again, I will jump to the opposite side right over here. And I'll start the next fin. You'll just kind of have to eyeball it just to see how long you need to make it, what the curve should be, and then you make another curve, or I'm sorry, then you make some more squiggly lines back to the body. Now it's the same process for the next set of fins. So it might be a little bit trickier with the next set of fins just because, you know, logically, you know that your body is turning a little bit. But again, it's that idea where you can kind of space it out with your fingers just to eyeball it and see exactly where you need to put your fins. So maybe I'll start here for the top one. Have it curve out. The bottom fins tend to be just a little bit smaller, just so you know. A little bit smaller, so I don't have to go out as much. And then just kind of do the next one down here. Let's see. Let's try that curve again. There we go. And then squiggly lines. And voila. Now, as you can see, each of our fins has some lines coming out. So at least for the side fins here, these lines are all going to meet around the same area. So they're going to meet at the body and they'll spread downward. So what I'm going to do is I'll jump to one of these fins and I'll just make a few lines starting at a point. So starting right by the body and then just have them move down. And you don't need a lot. I'm just going to put a few of these placeholder lines here because I will end up painting more later. Once we do the watercolor part, I'll paint more. So these are just placeholder lines. So you'll do the same thing with all 4 of the fins. So over here, I'll jump to the side and I'll start to have this go down and out from a point right there. So same thing with the back fins. They're all going to converge at one spot right here. Same thing with this one. One more fin. There. You guys have questions? You guys doing all right? Cool. Can't wait to see what they look like. Now the back fin down here is pretty similar. Most of your lines or all of your lines are going to meet up around this area. So honestly, I can just start at the end here. And they will fan out and get a little bit thicker as you get closer to the edge. So you can start up here and just kind of fan them out a bit. And I usually like to start at the edge because it gives me a starting point. So have it fan out like that. Starting from there. And then if you're a little bit confused as to where to go from the middle, then you can actually just pause for a second and actually jump to the other side. And then just kind of start over here because the two ends are more defined, so it's a little bit easier. And then see how you need to change it in the middle. I'll give you guys a moment to finish that up before I move on to this one right here. Now this one is a little bit more confusing, so have patience with yourself, okay? I'll try to break it down as best as I can. I'll give you guys another moment or so to finish the fins. I wonder if there are any other any different color koi fish? Purples? Blues?
I will investigate, Hannah. I will let you know what I find out.
Thank you. Thank you, Alexa.
And I still can't get my video to work, but
Oh,
I'm finally unmuted. So
okay. Huh.
I was just on a Zoom half hour ago. So I know it works. I don't know why it's not working here.
Weird, huh?
Yeah.
Can you see what I'm doing, or is it
Oh
your
yeah,
video?
I can see everyone else. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
want to be in hiding.
Okay.
Came up as a black screen, so I don't know. And
Yeah.
my only option says stop video, which maybe I should stop it and restart it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, actually my computer tends to do that sometimes, sometimes in the middle of class while I'm teaching like this.
Oh,
So usually if I restart my computer, then it's fine, the problem resolves. But I don't want you
okay.
to miss too much, but just for future reference.
Yeah, I could do that. Let me
Yeah, I
just
mean, as long as you can see what we're doing, hopefully you'll be
right.
okay. All right, so I want to show you guys how to do the top fin, the one right up here. So this top fin, it runs along the spine of the fish. So starts somewhere in the middle over here and ends somewhere towards the end over here. So I am actually going to start with one line. So one line that goes right through the middle of my fish. So you move this. So let's say maybe I want to start around here, and I'll just make a line that runs from here to here, centered in the middle of my fish.
Oh, there I am. I'm here.
Yay!
There I
Oh,
am.
there you are. Yeah, yay, Jane. Got you. Cool. Now we see you. Let's see. Now, maybe I'll stretch it a bit more. I think I'm good like that. There we go. So now we've got the line here. And the rest of it, you see this wavy line right here? We're going to put a wavy line with some pretty wide curves. I'd say they're pretty wide. And that wavy line is going to run back and forth in between this line. So I can go here, cross the line, go out here, cross the line. I'm moving back and forth one side to the next. Keep on going, keep
Like a
on
sine curve.
going. Yes, thank you. That's what it is.
Hannah, I am
Doing
so
some
sorry
math
to
here.
interrupt. I come back with some great research just while people are
Oh,
drawing and can think about their color selection. Koi fish come in all different colors. So if you want to
all
go ahead
colors.
and pull up some like Google images, there are beautiful purples and rainbows
Ooh,
and just you guys can get super creative. I just want to let you know that. And you
ah,
can, there's so many different options. I just wanted
cool.
to just put that out there and just I'm so happy to report I just did not know there were that many koi fish. That is
There we
all.
go. Excellent journalism, Alexa. Thank you.
And no koi fish will be harmed in the process.
No, no. Okay, so we've got our lovely sine curve here. So as you can see here, it's a little bit thicker at the top right here. Like you can definitely see some sort of thick edge running along here. So we're just going to create the thicker edge, and we will erase the line that it crosses in between. So start on one end, and we're just going to create a parallel line that follows right alongside our sine curve. That is all we're doing. And it may not be even, like I didn't hit the mark there, but that's okay. We're just going to keep going, keep running that along the curve till we hit the end. Then all we have to do is take our eraser and erase the line that crosses in between. So that original line, I'll erase it there, erase it here. There we go. There we go. Now I've got it. Now, if you take a closer look at my koi fish, you'll see that I feel like my lines are a little bit confused. Like I didn't know if the lines should have like run down this way or should they have run sideways? I had no idea. Just pick a direction. Whatever you're comfortable with, pick a direction and just make some lines that run along that side. So I'll just continue on with these horizontal lines here. And I'll just create some lines like that.
They're
Move
in
them along.
between curve, the lines are
Yeah. Yeah, they're right in this little space here. So
thank
like, yeah. They almost look like watermelon shapes in a way. So the lines are like right in the meat of the watermelon.
okay, thank you.
Now, after you have that fixed up and finished, it's up to you. But if you want to, you can start to erase some of your lines, just to make them a little bit lighter. And I know I told you guys already to from the get-go to make lighter lines from the beginning. And that's okay. Like I want you guys to be able to see your work. But I also want to maybe just diminish some of the lines. So go ahead and clean it up a little bit at least. Cleaning up the inside of that eyeball. But other than that, we are pretty much ready to start painting. And I am going to start painting the inside of the fish first because believe it or not, the body of the fish didn't really take me as long as the background took me. I was really surprised. But we are going to start with the body of the fish. So this is where we narrow down our colors. Or you can put the whole rainbow in there, whatever you want. And just so you guys know, I'll be using my number 6 or number 8 round brush. So the larger of the two. And if you happen to be ready, then there we go. Got my lovely little can of paints here. I don't know how messy you guys are, okay? But I am gonna have to wipe off some of this color here. So you guys just make sure you have some area where you can mix some of your colors together. So that's where the napkin comes in handy. So if it's not clean, then you can just kind of dip your water or dip your napkin into your water and just wipe away some of this stuff. For me, I feel like I'm probably only going to need one section. And this is for later too. This is for whenever we do the background. There. It can be hard to like get some of the color that's stuck into the crevices. So if it's difficult for you, then you can use your pencil just to kind of push the water through there. Push the napkin. That way you get everything. And then I'm good. That should be all that I need. Okay, set that aside. All right, so colors. Now, I know that we said that, of course, you can do any color you want. Yes, but we're going to be a little bit methodical about it. I would like to, well, I suggest doing your lightest color first and then moving on to medium and then darkest color. So this one, for example, I have a lot of yellow here. So I put a lot of yellow on there first. And because all of these colors are right next to each other on this little rainbow here, they mix well. So yellow mixes really well with these two colors, but yellow also mixes well with green too. So just sort of look at the rainbow or look at a color wheel if you happen to have one. Since we have more options for colors now. And if you're ever confused about it, just let me know and I can definitely help you with deciding the order of operations. So I will start off with the yellow. That is my lightest color. And then I'll move on to my my orange, and then lastly the red. So I'm just throwing that out there. Of course, I have cat hair everywhere. Sorry, guys. All right. So the thing to just think about when we're using watercolors is that the more water you add, the lighter and more transparent the color is going to be. So the less water you have, it means the color is going to be much brighter. So this right here, very bright color. So I didn't have too much water there. Over here though, you can see the yellow is a little bit lighter. Or at least I can see that it's lighter. I know it's a little bit hard to see on the camera, but that had more water. This area had more water. It's not a huge thing to think about. It's not super important unless you want those more subtle colors. Then you would use more water. So in which case, you would probably want some of this space to mix more water onto. So I'm going to show you how to do that if that's you. So I'm going to take my water and I'll just start sifting some water onto my surface, my painting surface. I'm sorry, my mixing surface. Just scoop it up onto here. If you happen to have like an eyedropper, that would be even better, a little more efficient than this. But I'd say it's a pretty decent pile of water right there. A little puddle. From there, I can start to mix in some of my yellow. Now, I told you guys that I'm starting with yellow, but you can really start with any color, okay? Just whatever your first color is going to be. And mix that. because I have so much water, it's going to be pretty transparent. So that should be it. I have one little, let me move that aside real quick and grab my little koi fish. Now, some koi fish are completely from head to toe, well, head to fin, completely covered in color. Your patches can be any shape you want, okay? So have fun with it. So I'm going to take my color and I'm going to start by squishing my brush around. You see how the bristles splay out like that? That's how we get that classic watercolor texture. See how it splays out? See that? I'm going to point it towards my pencil line. And because I have so much water, a much larger water to paint ratio, it's very light. So let's say maybe that's all I want to do for this patch. I'll just do that. That's it. And maybe I can jump over here. I'm just making this up as I go. Maybe I want to jump over here and add a little more. Because I'm using my lightest color, I can easily layer different colors on top. Very easy for me to do that. But please put your colors wherever you want to put them. Maybe I'll put a little bit down here. And again, splaying it out like that is going to help to make it a little bit more uneven, to where you have these little puddles, these more watercolor-like textures. Plus, I just think it's fun. I just love doing that. Now, I know it's kind of fast, okay? But I don't want this to dry too quickly before I add my next color, okay? Now, I'm just thinking maybe I want a spot or two that has brighter yellow. So I'm not mixing any different color. I just want to maybe add more yellow pigment. So I can grab that yellow pigment and I want to pick one of my really wet spots and just start to tap some of that paint on top. And watch the color spread. Watch the color just sort of splay across the paper. Hopefully you can see that a little better. I'm tapping it right on top of my wet areas. And that's going to give me some nice variation. And it's because it's very wet. It doesn't take a lot, you know. Now, say maybe yours is not spreading as nicely as that. Well, it just means you need a little bit more water. That's all. So you can just kind of go back into your water and just pick up a little bit off the surface and just add that to a spot. Add that wherever you'd like to blend in some of your brush strokes and make them less brush strokey. And you should be all right. That water is going to help to eliminate the brush strokes. Keep that in mind too. The water helps to eliminate the brush strokes because that'll be important for the background. Now at this point, you can move on to your next tier, so your medium color. And it's up to you. You can mix more water with it, have a larger water to pigment ratio if you want it to be a little more transparent. You can, of course, have more pigment than water. So at this point, I want you guys to just sort of work on your little fishy here and let me know if you have questions. I'd love to answer your questions about colors, exactly what to do with ratios. Just let me know. But if I don't get any questions, I'm just going to talk out loud. You know, I'll just say what's on my mind. That's all. I mentioned earlier that I want to add a little bit of just, you know, this color and then this color. So I'm going to get my next one, orange. And let's say maybe I do want to add a lighter, more transparent orange. Well, I mentioned earlier that yellow mixes very well with the color next to it, which is orange. So I can just take some of this and just kind of mix it in. That way I'm really just grabbing some of this water. So it's nice and mixed right there. And there we have it. I was trying to have it not move its spot. That's okay. I can start to tap or splay some of this color. I can even move it around a little bit. See how I'm splaying it out like that? Maybe I'll move over here. Maybe I want more of this orange on this side. Splaying it out, and that gives it more of that watercolory, undefined edges texture. I just love this technique too, though. I just feel like it's very like relaxing to move your brush this way. Then maybe I'll add some here. That to be pretty bright. Then maybe, am I done? No, maybe I'll put a little bit here. Because I'm working from light to dark, I will go ahead and add a larger paint ratio. So add some paint directly from the paint pan here. And then just kind of put that on top. Tap that right on top. Tapping, I'm watching it move because it's so pretty. Maybe I'll make it really dark right here. And if you happen to accidentally go outside the lines, that's okay too. We have an outline for a reason. Do you guys see that outline? I did that on purpose. So you can just sort of clean up your edges there. Now say, again, you want to just sort of blend in some of those brush strokes so that they're not very brush strokey. So you can go ahead and move on to your water. Grab some water. And let's see, these, I want to blend them in. Go right on top of those brush strokes with the water. There we go. I think I want maybe a little bit more right here, and then I'll be happy. I think I'll be good. I say that, and then I continue to add more and more. I always do that. My next step is going to be some red. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll add some red. So it's going to be next in line. And again, because these colors mix so well together, I can just put this red right into my little pile of water right here. It does lighten it up minimally, just a little bit, makes it a tiny bit more orange because it already had orange in it. And that's okay, it all works together. But if I wanted to keep it just pure red, then I can always just make my own little pile and then add water to that separate pile. Got some of that. So now maybe I can add it here. That's kind of cool. This area is really wet still, so it's spreading really nicely. Any questions from you guys? Fear concentration. Oh, that's right. I need to add like a little dot up here. I mean, I don't need to add a little dot. I have to commemorate my little puffer fish though. All right. Now, while this dries, we will work on the background. Okay, so I'll give you guys a couple more minutes to work on this. So that's kind of the order of operations. While this is drying a little bit more fully, we'll jump into the background and more specifically some of these areas away from the fish. And then we'll just get a little bit closer. That way we can put our paint right up to the fish's body. So we'll do the background, and then after that, we'll work on the fins. So background, then fins, and then very last will be the shadows, little eyeballs and shadows right here. Oops. I need to plug my computer in. Has anyone ever like had their own koi fish pond? I've always wanted my own koi fish pond. Nobody?
My dad used to have one, but somebody kept stealing the fish.
Jeez, a
We're not
bird or
sure
a
if it was
human?
like a raccoon or a
Okay.
bird or what.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's always a risk. Yeah. For fishies.
Thought it was gonna be Andrea who stole those fish.
I've always wanted my own little koi fish pond. Maybe if I can afford a house, then I'll get one. Now, I
Oh yeah,
usually
I
like,
think my dad was 60 years old before he had a koi pond. He
oh,
was
okay.
fighting the squirrels for his bird feeders and yeah, all that fun stuff retired people end up
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah, fighting squirrels being one of them.
And fighting squirrels and building koi ponds. I can't
That's,
wait to retire.
yeah. I look forward to that. I do.
Not that I'll have the energy for any of that activity, but
You never know.
you never know.
It's funny because my boyfriend already watches squirrels. Yeah. He'll sit outside, and just say, "Hey, there's a squirrel. Hey, oh my God." Or like we'll just be walking the dog outside, and he notices everything. So he'll just point out the squirrels in the tree.
They have whole YouTube channels just focused on a bird feeder. So you can, or like
Yeah.
a corn crib, and you can watch like the birds and the squirrels and the chipmunks all come and eat for like hours. We
It's
sometimes we sometimes put it on for our cat and our dog if we're gonna be away for a bit.
that's what I was about to say. Like I've put on one of those channels. I think it was about birds. I put it on for my cats. Yeah, they loved it.
Dog and I love watching that.
Um, yeah, it began to be a little bit dangerous for our TV, so we stopped because our cats,
No.
they'd get so excited. There's a bird on the TV, so they'd like pound on the TV, and they're not small cats. So there's three of
They
them.
can't go against their nature.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, guys. I would like to get started on the background. If you happen to have like a fan or something, you're more than welcome to just sort like a fan or maybe like something like another paper, to sort of fan it a little bit, fan your watercolor, just let it dry for a little bit. But again, it will do its own thing and dry on its own while we are working on the background. But So this idea of using water and letting the water carry your paint, that's what we want to do for the water too. So it's a little bit more of a limited color palette though. So you guys see that. I'm going to be using blue and a little bit of like a dark teal. And I don't know how many of you guys use the same watercolor palette as I do, but if you happen to be using the same one, then it's going to be this blue, so the dark blue, that's the one that's next to your purple. And as for the teal, it's going to be the one right below that. So it's usually right next to the bright blue. We're going to be using the teal, this one here. And I know I mentioned mixing black with the paint, but actually I think I mix a tiny little bit of brown paint, not black. I mix a tiny bit of brown paint with those colors in order to just slightly neutralize the colors so that they're not quite as bright. So as you can see, very, very bright. So it's up to you which one you like, okay? But no matter what, we will use the water to help carry the pigment across the paper. So we will be switching over to our largest brush, the flat one right here. Make sure you get all of the little eraser thingies off of the paper. So let's set this aside. And very first thing I'm gonna do is wipe off my little area here. Because just like I diluted all of my koi fish colors, I'm gonna dilute my watercolors as well, or my water blue colors. I probably should have grabbed two napkins. Oh well. Oh well. Okay. Hopefully it doesn't turn purple. So again, let's go ahead and pick up some water and put it right over here in the middle. Now my puddle here is going to be a little bit bigger just because we're working on a bigger space. So I'll need a little bit more paint. First thing I will do is mix a little bit of the blue. So we'll start off with the plain old blue color here. Because we'll be mixing a small amount, it's going to end up looking more like a light blue. See that? Little goes a long way. You can still see the bottom. Maybe I will add a tiny bit more. A little bit. Still transparent, still looking good. And if you happen to feel like you put too much pigment, maybe it's it's not as transparent as you'd like it to be, then just take your napkin and sop up some of it and add more water to that pile. Dilute it with water. So definitely helps. Probably helps to have two napkins, like I said. Now I mentioned adding a tiny little bit of brown paint. When I say tiny little bit, I mean tiny little bit. So I'm just gonna pick up a little corner.
You mean a tiny little bit?
Yeah, just a tiny little bit, yeah. Now that's a little too much. I've made like some sort of gray color. That's not what I'm looking for. So that's what happens when you add too much brown. So I soaked it up. And I'm gonna add more blue and more water. There we go, looking much better. Can always make more. Can always add more water. You can even add more water to the paper. That is what I'm going to be doing. I will be adding more water to the paper. So we will go ahead and get started on the background. I'll start somewhere out here And again, we're going to splay our bristles outward. See that? I'm going to go back and forth between brushing and splaying with my paint, with my watered down paint and a little bit of water. That's how we get this variation. Do you see that? It's darker here, super, super light some other places. That's because I mostly had water on my brush. So we'll go back and forth between the two, between this area, between the mixed color and the water. So now that I've added some of the color, I'll go over here and dip and get a little water and start spreading it using the water. See that? Now I can maybe take a little more. Maybe I'll add it. I don't want to go quite close to my fish just yet. I'm tapping, I'm splaying the bristles outward. So the last thing I did was I used my color. So now I'll do the opposite and I'll use my water. Have some moments where there's just water. This will be very wet, okay? So if you feel like it's a little bit too much water, it's too puddly, then see if you can just sort of sop it up, tap it with your napkin, tap some of it away. And that also creates a nice texture too. So just jump around edge to edge for now. I've used my color in that instance. Now I'm going to use a little bit of water in this instance. So jump over here. I am getting pretty close to the fins and that's okay. There's no color on the fins, so you can get really close to the fins. Just be a little more careful with the body. Now dipping it in water. Add a little extra water right here. Now you will be going back and forth between, the two things that I mentioned. However, I'm going to add something else in there. I'm going to throw in more of the pigment, so more of the color. So I'm going to throw in some of the pure blue straight from the little paint pile here. Now just a little bit, because remember, we do want that that color to spread and move around. So I'll just have these little moments where I have darker color. Splaying out my brush and tapping it. Little moments like that. So I just have the pure color, tiny little bit, and I'm really aiming for the really wet areas. So wherever it has a lot of that water. You can go back in and just sort of like swipe it a little bit with your brush if you want to get rid of some of those brush strokes. I'm being very gentle. I'm being very delicate with it. So I've got little moments where I've tapped a little bit of that pure color in some spots. So just do that periodically. You want to get it while it's still pretty wet. And we will eventually want to do the same thing with that teal. So this dark teal right here. So I'm going to take a little bit of that. Again, a little goes a long way because it's a very strong color. Tap tiny little bits there. Got some moments of pure teal here. And maybe, I know I have a bunch of water up here, so I can tap here too. Now, eventually, you will be able to get really close to your koi fish.
What do you mean by that?
So I will be going right up along the edge with the flat end of my brush right here. So I can do that. I do want to start off lightly, just kind of tread carefully. So I'll use my really transparent blue here. And I'll just go right up to the edge. Add some blue using the edge of the brush like that. Kind of skirting around the outsides. I'm moving into the colored area now. That's pretty dry. I'm pretty happy with that. Can jump over here, add some color here. And again, I'm using the thin edge of the brush to move alongside the body. Got to get some more of my transparent blue, and I got to jump to this side now. And you are going to end up getting at least a little bit of either one of your colors into the background. It's just natural for that to happen. There we go.
Did you explain why you have some white areas on the fish?
No, I didn't explain that actually. I know that I've seen some koi fish that have white areas, so I just wanted to keep it like that. Like, not all koi fish are completely covered in color.
And per my research, sometimes they're kind of metallic or silvery in their white areas.
Ooh, I did not know that.
They are very diverse.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Now I'm going to take either one of my strong colors, so straight from the little paint palette. And in some areas, it's nice to have some darker spots that are really close to the fish. I'm targeting areas that are really wet. So over here, the paint's spreading quite a bit because it's very wet, so it works out. Just to make it even, I'll just kind of jump over here. And again, it's very wet, so it's working out pretty well because of that. So it's just nice to have these moments of depth, of darker areas really close to the body of the fish. So maybe I'll jump to the opposite side and do some of that. Maybe I'll do some of this blue. Put some blue over here. Just let the color do its thing, letting the color move around on its own. I am going to go and get rid of those, not get rid of them, but like smooth out those brush strokes in a minute. So, but first I want to put a little bit of blue over here. There we go. So now I'll smooth it out over here. Maybe for me, I don't know about you guys, but for me, I'll just add one more little area that has a dark color. And then I think I'll be happy with that. So maybe like right here. I'm using that thin edge whenever I can to move alongside my lines and my fish body. There we go. Actually, I feel like up here it probably needs a little bit more. There we go. Now for me, I'm pretty happy with that. I feel like there's some moments where it's pretty dark, or dark enough at least, and some areas where it's super, super light. So there's a lot of variation. So whenever you are finished with that, then just sort of fan it off. Actually, I feel like I need to add a little something there. There we go. So I'm mostly gonna try to fan those areas that are closest to the fish. It doesn't really matter what's going on out here, but closer to the fish, we just want to fan it out because the next step is to outline it. All right. Any other questions? Ooh. I just have to say, I'm really proud of you guys. I'm really proud of you guys because that was a lot. Like that was a lot of steps and we just kept on going. It kept on moving and you guys are doing great. Yeah, I can't wait to see what they look like later. Maybe I'll take just a minute or two to ask you guys if you've done anything creative in the last week or maybe in the last month. It's been a month since we've met up. Anything creative, anything fun or interesting going on in your life? I always like to ask that. Ooh, Sharon, did I see you hold something up? Oh yeah, yeah, your little there you go.
That's nice. That's nice.
Yep. We
That's from this
yeah.
cake, yeah. And I
Yeah,
made a
yeah.
cake today. I baked a cake for my mom for her
Nice.
birthday.
Nice. What kind
That's
of
kind
cake?
of creative.
Yeah,
Huh?
what kind of cake? What kind of cake?
You know, okay, I've never made this, but it was a strawberry cake.
Mm.
That sounds good. That sounds really good. Did you
I
make it
don't
from
know.
scratch?
No.
Box cake? Yeah.
Like you take boxed cake and add
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
to it, and I don't know.
That's creative. Yeah. You're doing
Anyway,
something extra. Yeah,
Called semi-homemade.
cool.
I'm a huge fan of boxed anything because I cannot bake. Well, it's not like I can't bake. I just get really frustrated with it. Does anyone else want to share before we move on to the outline?
I was
Anything
on my first archaeological dig.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
really cool. How
That
did you
very creative.
how
That's
and
exciting.
where? That's really cool.
Dunstan Hall,
Okay.
George Mason's home.
Okay.
It just happened. So it was very cool.
Nice. I'm a little
Yeah.
jealous. That's really cool.
It was
Man,
neat.
that's so cool. Yeah, it sounds amazing.
Yeah, I'm totally jealous.
I went to college with a girl who was a double major, and one of her two majors was archaeology. And she came home one day in tears. She had cracked a skull during a dig.
Oh,
Ooh, yeah, yeah, I understand the tears. I can see that.
Bless her heart.
I know.
Hmm.
Yeah, I feel bad for her too, and I don't know her.
She probably
Okay.
doesn't even think about it these days.
Good.
Just
My
me telling
God.
stories.
Yeah, I feel like that would be me, like thinking about that 30 years later. I would.
hey, if it makes you feel any better, I cut my 2 fingers on the dig in the first 10 minutes, but I was fine. It's on.
You survived.
Yeah, I survived. No one's perfect.
That's right.
All right, guys. For me, I don't know about you guys, but for me, it looks like it's pretty good along the edges here. So I feel like we're probably ready. And honestly, we're not going to go right on top of the fish's body just yet. We'll go on top of the fins right now. So it's looking pretty good. And we will be moving on to the smaller of the two round brushes. So this little guy right here. I don't know if I just didn't clean it off right or what. But here's my
What
is
number brush is it?
I want to say this is like a size 1 or a size 2. One of those. Yeah, I feel like a size 1 or size 2. Or anything around there, honestly, whatever you're comfortable with. We'll be making some thinner lines along the fins. And I'm actually going to use some of my blue paint here. So my watered down blue, I'm just going to try to like skirt some off to the side here because I want to mix a little bit of black paint with it. So right over here, it is a gray line that we're using, but it's just very subtly blue. So it's just a small detail. If you want to just use black paint and have that be it, that's okay too. But again, we want a very transparent color. So definitely a lot of water. If I move it around, I can see the bottom. I can see the lid underneath it. Ooh, somehow I have little sparklies in here. How did that happen? Okay. So I want to start with, I'm thinking maybe one of these fins. So one of the fins on the side here. And all we're going to do is we're going to outline it first and see if you're able to press down lightly like that, or as lightly as you can, honestly. Go right on top of your pencil lines first. Some days I'm able to press down a little more lightly than others, and that's all right. Outline it first, and then start to go over, oops. And then start to go over some of your lines too. So the lines in the middle for that texture. So I'm starting from this middle point here where they all meet, starting there. And I'm even gonna put maybe like a few in between, just sort of scrape them downward. We'll do that for all 4 of our fins. So start off with the outline first. And if you need to move your picture around, then I do encourage you to do that. Just because from knowing me and knowing the way I hold my brush, I know that it's a lot easier for me to move my paintbrush down. It's kind of hard for me to move it. Here we go. So I personally prefer to move downward rather than upward. So outline it all first. Then go over some of those lines and try and add a few extras in between. If you happen to go over a little more than you intended, that's okay too. We'll just think of it as a shadow. So work on that. And you will do the same thing for the big fin as well. So it's just a larger area, that's all. So you can actually move on to the larger fin if you want to. So outline it like that. Then I'll move my little lines downward. Some of them meet the bottom portion of the fin and some of them don't. I personally like that variation where like some of them are longer than others. I just happen to like the way that looks. Jump over to this side. Do the same thing. Always have to think about what I've done that was fun. I know I went hiking last Sunday, I think. So that was fun. Here we go. Cut that outlined. I had a few extra lines in between. And then again, same thing for the large fin too. Now, as you can see, I got a little bit of water in my fin, on my fin. That's all right as well. I'm actually just going to see what I can do to blend it in a little bit using my gray. I can start with the easiest part, which is just outlining it. Same thing with the other side. So I'm going to follow along those pencil lines, add a few in between, and then right where the blue overlaps it, I can maybe add some gray lines that just kind of blur it a little bit. So I can somewhat disguise it. And then continue on. Love adding these smaller lines in between.
Hannah, what do you do if the paper starts pilling?
Oh, pilling, like it's kind of like it's too wet. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, once it gets to that point, see if you can maybe like pick up some of the water. I wouldn't do all of it just because it might ruin the color underneath.
Mhm.
But let me see. It depends on what you're doing exactly. In most cases though, unless there's like a ton of water, I would just leave it. Because it can be a little delicate and you don't really want to like put more paint on top of it at that point. You don't want to put more water on top of it. So I think the best thing to do would just let it dry, you know, sop up just a little bit, pick up just a tiny little bit, and then just let it dry.
Okay.
And those little pills that you see, they'll shrink. Like it won't be totally visible the way it is now later on, but I mean you will see it a little bit, but they will shrink quite a bit once it's dry.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Yeah. Wish I had a better fix than that. Okay. So I am just about finished with my lines here.
And are you going all the way around the fish? You're just doing the outside fins right now, right?
Yeah, right now I'm doing the outside fins.
Okay.
Next I'll jump to the middle though.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't done the outline just yet. And I'll probably have to make a little bit more of my gray in a moment here. Now, once you get to the inside fin, it's the same process, the same thing. Just move along your lines. So here, now by now this area should be dry. So just be careful if it's not, but we haven't touched it in a while now, so it should be dry. Go along the lines, move along the sign shape. I'm gonna move my paper around because it's a lot easier. There we go. In some areas, I'm accidentally coloring the entire section, but that's okay. I'm gonna move along these lines right here.
There.
These lines. Mm-hmm.
I think I was doing okay until I got to that part.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this part it's a little trickier, but I think it's all right. This is why we save it for the last one anyway. There we go. Not too shabby. Now, anytime you can do this at any time now, you can start to outline the body of your fish. So same process, same color. So it's that gray. So for me, I need to make some more. So I'm gonna make another little pile right here. Add a tiny bit of blue so that it tints the gray to a blue. I'm adding my black paint to it. There we go. So we'll do that outline. After we do the outline though, I will show you how to do a little bit of shadow. So it's very subtle. So this little bit here, that'll come after you outline it. And I will make this part optional just because it's a little bit more subtle, and I feel like it can get a little bit confusing if you're, well, I mean, just on the face, really, just on the face. So it will be optional though, but I'll show you how to do that. But no matter what though, do the outline. And also the eyes, you can also fill in the eyes too. In fact, the eyes, they are going to be a darker black. For that outline on the body of the fish, it actually looks really nice if you have some areas where you press down a little bit more so it's a little bit more thick. And I didn't do that on purpose. It just happens to be like a happy little accident, but it does look pretty nice. So I just want to throw that out there. If it's not as thin as you would like it to be, that's okay. Still looks beautiful. I feel like I put a little bit too much water in that little eyeball right there, so it's probably gonna spread. So I want to soak it up a little bit. There we go. There we go. Got that outline. Oh wait. Just one more minute before I show you the last little bit of shadow. And again, it is the optional shadow, so you don't have to do that. And for that optional shadow, I am actually gonna switch back over to this brush. So the very first one we used. And I will actually dilute this blackish blue paint right here. I'll dilute it even more than what you see. Because it is a very, very light gray. So for me, I know that this is probably a little too much paint, so I'm gonna soak it up. That way I can add more water to this. So that's all I needed to do. Soak it up and then sift more water. That way I can dilute it more. There we go. Very, very light. I think I want to add a tiny bit more blue to it too. Love what it looks like when it's blue. Okay. Now I can start off with the easier section, which is actually just this area right here. It's a little bit thicker. So it's a little bit thicker right here, and it just kind of tapers off over here. I imagine this is probably where the fishy skull begins. So it's going to be less of a shadow right up here, more of a shadow right over here. And then I also do a slightly thicker one on the opposite side too, after that. So I can take my super light gray and start to, I can squish down a bit more like that. Squish down. That's going to give me a slightly thicker line. And then taper it as I get further down over here. It just represents a light shadow, a very light shadow. Then I can jump to the other side. Then I can do the same thing. Very light shadow on the opposite end. Now I'm going to try not to go over this area too much, because too much water and you'll end up lifting some of the previous paint off, even if it is dry. So I'm just going to go over it maybe once or twice, and that'll be that. So there's the shadow on the two sides there. I just remembered it. It's very subtle, but I have a tiny little shadow right in here. So it's right up against the middle fin. So I think I just forgot to extend it to this side. I meant to extend it over there. So take some of that. Just kind of point it in here. Jump to this side, put some in there. There we go. It looks very watery, very loose, and that's a good thing. Like I want it to be a little bit more loose and undefined. And there's even a little bit right at the top here. I don't know how well you guys can see that. Put a little here, and then I start trickling it down here. So tap it, spread it just a little bit. I'm moving down towards the edge there. Spreading it to the edge over here. And try not to go over it too much, once again. Oops, I need to move it over so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. There we go. Now, you notice how there's a little bump here, and there's a little bump here. I tried to imagine that that was like the little bridge of the nose. I don't know what else to call it, like this area right here. So it's just gonna extend it out a little bit there. Wrap it around and do the same thing, extend it out just a little bit right there by the eye. And then that's that. Now it's very wet, okay? I believe that was the last step though. That, yep. Yeah, if you see anything else, let me know, but I'm pretty sure that was the last step. Is there anybody here who whose artwork is not as wet and is able to pick it up and show us? If you want to show us, then it's show and tell time.
Oh, it's
I
my
am
favorite
ready.
part of the show.
Yeah. Let's see, Jane, I see you Yeah.
Oh
And then
my gosh. Oh my gosh. We have people who are ready.
I know. Look at that,
I
Jane.
love your colors,
Beautiful.
Jane.
Can we
Thank
see them one
you.
more time?
Oh,
Oh,
no.
Oh, back up a little
Oh,
bit.
so
Oh, look at
yeah.
that.
I love like the shadow that you were able to put on it. The shadow just really makes it pop. And there's something about the water, like the water and all the variation that you have in there. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, the middle fin didn't come out like I like, but
No, the
No.
movement is
No, it's good.
beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, the
The
movement is really
movement's
good.
beautiful.
I feel like it gives that feel that it is underwater. Very
Great
cute,
job,
Jane.
Jane.
thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
Andrea. Oh, I got you when you were drinking.
There
Whoa.
it is. Look at that. I love the little spots. And I love the back fin too. The back fin just looks so flowy
I
and
know.
elegant.
It's like a
Yeah.
train, like a wedding dress
Mhm.
train or something.
Yeah, that's what that
My
looks like.
paper's only 9 by 10. I ran out of inches.
And then up here.
I had
Okay.
that problem.
Ran out of inches. That's okay. Thanks, Andrea.
Thank you. And Sharon, I see you.
Beautiful.
Oh
Ooh,
my goodness. Look at your
That
color selection.
purple. Look
like
at
the
that.
colors.
It's a mess.
No, I
It's
am
not.
impressed with where the orange meets the purple
Yes.
because those two colors, like it is hard to blend those two. And
Mhm.
you did really
Oops.
well with it.
It was kind of turning red, so
Oh. Hey, it works really
cool.
well though.
He
Thank you.
looks
Yeah.
designer, like a designer koi fish.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Designer.
It's a mermaid.
I love it.
I love
I
it.
wish I had purple now.
Great job. All right,
Yeah,
Amber,
thanks,
I
Sharon.
see you.
Ooh,
Oh, so
there we go.
pretty. Look at the
I know.
background.
There we go. I had to unmute. So, but I don't know. It is a little wet. I'm afraid it's gonna drip, but
Yeah.
That's okay. We can see it. Oh my goodness, so
Nice.
Oh
pretty.
gosh.
I actually had a very large piece of paper, so it's a little bit bigger than spread out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is gorgeous. I'm loving the way the water looks because I can see like some of the water marks have edges around them, and that to me
I was
looks
trying
more
to blur them.
realistic.
Oh, and I have a drip. I have a drip happening.
It's okay. It's okay. We saw it.
Yeah, we saw it. Yeah.
We saw it. You're good.
Woo!
You're good. So proud of you, Amber. Great job. That's so
Yes,
You
thank
got
beautiful.
too
you.
many inches, Amber.
I did. I had to fill up a lot of space.
Uh-huh.
Very good.
Thanks,
And
Amber.
now we have the McGinleys coming up. Okay, so we'll do you guys.
Ooh,
There we go. Oh, you
And
added some
Jake.
green to it?
Yeah, I
That's
love green.
Oh
gorgeous.
my gosh.
See, look,
Oh
our
my
kitchen
gosh.
counters are green.
Yeah.
Everything's
I
green.
I see the resemblance and I'm loving the textures. Like the way, Laurel, the way you added the texture to the fish. And I love that I can see the similarities in the water too. And I see that the water is purple, like some
I
parts
love
are
the
purple,
For
and that's
some,
beautiful.
there. Yeah,
Yeah,
I just went a little crazy.
I love it. And
And
then
then JP
JP,
too.
I know I'm loving the blocky what is it like the stripes on it? It almost looks like stripes. There we go.
Racehorse.
I love
It's an
it.
arrow.
Yeah, it's like
Yes,
an
it's an
arrow.
arrow.
And I
Yeah.
think because the eyes are really big, it just looks cute. Like it's
I
a
know.
cute
I love
fish.
those.
it's like a puffy fish.
Yeah, there you go. I love it, JP.
Oh, great job.
Yeah, I didn't know how to make the eyes smaller.
That's okay. The eyes look
It
so
works.
it makes it. It makes
Yeah.
it. Great
Works
job.
out really well.
Laura, we're coming to you now. Oh my goodness, look at the purple.
Fully purple. How pretty is that?
And I did in my research actually see a koi fish species just like this one. So
Oh
you
my
did, you were
gosh.
very accurate.
Yeah,
love my purple.
it's so pretty, and just like the fact that you have like the same background colors as I do, but there's something about the purple that brings it out.
I mixed in a little tiny bit of purple and with my blue and teal,
yeah,
couple of
yeah.
spots to tie it together, I guess.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
almost
to
kind of
make it
matches your
even.
tie-dye shirt you made.
Oh.
You're remembering a recurring theme, purple in my life.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And the water is beautiful because I love the subtle changes in color and density of color. It's beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful.
Mhm.
Great job, Laura. As always.
Yeah, thank
Great
you.
job. I just love Hannah. I just love seeing our artists grow every month. Great
Me
job.
too.
We're coming to you, Jeanette. Oh my gosh, look at that pink.
Pink. That
And
is
the
so
little
pretty.
pines. Oh,
The way
wow.
that it like blends together with the not only the orange but also the blue that you have on top. That's beautiful.
Oh, watercolor is so difficult, isn't it?
It's different. I'd say it's different, but you did fantastic. All of you
Yes.
guys are doing fantastic, but like
It's like
the
a cotton
texture.
candy fish.
Mhm.
It's a cotton candy fish.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're spot on with the texture. It looks great.
Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Jeanette.
All right, we have a party about to happen.
Yeah.
All right, look at that intensity.
Woohoo! I know. I feel like your fish has like dimension. Like it looks like it's popping up out of the page.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
Yes,
Mhm.
so intense. Yes, like that koi fish is ready to party.
Woo! Thanks,
Love
Party
it.
Monster.
Love it as always. Thank
Woo!
you. Did I miss anybody? I'm going through.
Yeah. Ooh. See, now I can see you all. Okay.
Yes, I'm just doing art cam until I can go through and see.
Yeah. And
Oh,
I
I'm
understand. Oh, there you go.
Ooh.
Let me see. I'm moving up.
More
Okay, can you hold
cotton
it up
candy.
again,
Yeah,
Maria?
hold it up again.
There we
Oh my
go.
goodness.
Gorgeous. That texture, again, that texture is just so pretty.
Do you see the little heart?
Yeah,
I don't
I
know if that was intentional,
At the
but it
end,
made a
yeah,
little
I
heart.
see.
Oh,
There-
oh yeah.
There's a little heart shape at the end of it, at the end of your fish. And yeah, it's really cute.
Thank you.
It's so fitting. I love it.
Oh my gosh, great
And
job.
again,
you.
the texture is beautiful.
And the color selections, they're just all so
Mhm.
good.
Thank
Oh my
you.
goodness. Barbara, oh yes, I think you're trying to show.
Yeah,
Ooh,
Barbara.
look at that
There
water.
you go.
Oh,
I
the
know, like the head of the fish and also the spots on the back. Like those are what really stand out to me. I love like the dimension that I'm getting from it. It's very subtle.
Beautiful.
It's so yeah, it's super pretty.
It's so beautiful. I love how all these fishes have their own little personalities. Like you can
They
tell they
do.
each have their own, and it's just this is such a pretty fish. Just ooh, just so kind and
I
serene.
the little dots of red at the end, that's so unique. I think that's so pretty.
That is. I love the little touches, the little almost like little freckles, kind of.
Yeah, little freckles.
Little fish
I love
freckles.
it.
The fins are so dramatic, and the tail.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Oh, Hannah, I didn't
Yeah.
see you had a Callie.
Callie just walked up.
Okay.
She'd like some attention. Yeah.
All right.
She's a little, attention seeker. Thanks,
Okay.
Barbara.
This one was a lot of fun to do. I really like the shadows that you helped us put in at the end.
Good. Okay.
We're giving you attention, Callie. Okay.
Hi, kitty kitty.
We are giving you attention.
Oh, baby.
I'm checking to see, and again, you never have to share if you do not want to or anything like that, but if you'd like to, feel free to holler, let me know. We're just looking at Callie right now because she will get upset if we do not give her attention. She just will. Like we just have
She
to.
looks young. Is she young?
She is.
She is. She'll be 2 in May.
Oh, she's a baby.
She is a baby.
Always baby.
She's still
Always
looks
baby.
cute.
Hey, thanks y'all very much. It's getting late. I'm gonna head out.
Of course. Thank you.
All right.
Yes, good seeing you.
Thank you so
Thank
much. I'm
you.
heading out too. Appreciate it. Love you all. Have a great weekend.
Perfect.
Have a
Thank
great weekend,
you.
guys.
Thank you.
Yes, you guys did a fantastic job. I just want to
Oh,
remind
okay.
you
Oh, we
guys.
have the dogs. We have the dogs. If no one here, if nobody else would like to share, we do have a tradition here. If you haven't been here before, we do like to end with puppers. Oh, we have Leslie. Oh, okay. Okay. Leslie. Oh my good. Is that a puzzle?
Hold it up.
Look at that.
Wow, that's pretty.
What?
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Oh my gosh.
Ovarian cancer groups at 3 o'clock this afternoon. I started with this, and then breast cancer and veterans. Ta-da!
Oh my goodness.
So it was all day, but I made a lot of mistakes.
Well, we can't see
But
you
it's
anymore
on the
for some
puzzle
reason.
board.
Yeah,
Huh?
for some reason we can't see you anymore.
Yeah, your
we
camera
saw
went
you
off.
for we saw you for like 2 seconds and then it's gone.
It was so good. I was so curious.
Yeah.
Turn on the video.
Let me see if I can send you a webcam request.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
I
have
really want to
no
see
idea
it.
what's going on.
that is
Aw.
crazy. You need to send us, if you can take a picture and send it to us, because in our
Yeah,
follow-up
yeah.
email, we want to send that to everyone because I am just so
Yeah.
like, that is a puzzle, people. Y'all, that is a puzzle.
Yeah, a whole puzzle.
And there's so much
It's
going on in there, and I want to see
Yeah.
it.
I'm disappointed in some aspects of it, but it being a puzzle is what made it a little more difficult to work with.
yeah,
But
yeah.
there's
Oh.
watercolor, there's markers, there's acrylic, there's all kinds of stuff on here.
Such a
So,
cool
but
idea though.
now the watercolor, actually, I didn't know if it was going to work, but it did. I just didn't paint well. Mistakes, grabbed the wrong brush. Once I touched the paper,
Oh.
that was it.
Yeah. I've been there. I've been
Anyway.
there. I get it.
Yeah.
I see that everyone
you.
has brought their animals, so I just removed spotlight because it just everyone simultaneously grabbed their animals, so we can all just admire them on the recording or wherever we are. So thank you to all the pets who support all of us everywhere. Beautiful, beautiful. And Laura's got great pets, and we thank, and of course JP, great pets too.
Kelly is very happy too.
Yeah, because she's getting
Just
attention.
love it.
We
Oh,
all
yeah,
know it's
she's-
because she is getting attention.
This is the whole like massage that she's getting.
Yes, she's very,
And
very.
the pets are better than most of my relatives.
Oh my gosh.
That, yes, you know what? They're always the best.
Always.
Amber, did I
Hannah-
see your kitty cat?
Yes, she was actually meowing the entire time. That's why I had everything on mute, because when I'm surprised she walked away. I don't know where she went, but when she hears me talking to anyone voices, she just is meowing. But she's actually literally like down below the table between, like, I've been painting and petting her at the same time. She's not a hold for long kind of cat. She hits her limit, but I mean, she will not stop receiving pets under the chin right now. So yeah, all black cat.
Oh, I love it. I saw her briefly. She's so cute.
Yes, we saw her very briefly. And we have gotten Callie on the official Art Friends transcript as well, like actual meow. It has come up as a meow, which has been hilarious.
I'm surprised she's quiet right now. I think it's because I'm not ignoring her. So
oh
yes,
she's getting love. That's why.
Getting love, yes.
Hannah, I don't think we have any more announcements. We made our announcements. The shirts are coming.
Yeah.
The cruises, who knows? Stay tuned. We're still working on that one. Coming.
Let's get some grants.
Let's get some grant money. And if you want to
Yeah.
sponsor us, you can email me, Alexa@ancan.org. I'm happy to negotiate, make a deal. And we will see you next month in April. And the sign up is already on our website because we are on top of it. 2024, we are on top of this year. And we will send you a follow-up email. If you've never done this with us before, we send you a follow-up email, and we will we'll have the sign up for next month. And we'll be here, same place, same time. And yeah, we want you to send our stuff. We want to profile you. We want to brag on you and all that good stuff. So Hannah, thank you so much. Our art friends, thank you so much. And with that, good night, everybody.
Good night. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming.
Bye-bye.